Nigeria Info, your number one for news. Always spot on, fresh and direct on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
All right, it's that time of the day where we get to talk about the businesses on the high street and those that are happening in Balogun. Welcome to Balogun and Broad. This is Hard Facts, 99.3 Nigeria Info. I am Maryann Okon, and I did tell you earlier on that Dr. Muda Yusuf would be joining us as we try to, navigate the business and finance sector for 2025. A lot has happened in the first 7 days of the year, but how do we make sure that the rest of the year is properly handled? Dr. Muda Yusuf is joining us via Zoom. Happy New Year, Doctor. It's so good to have you join us, and good evening.
Good evening, Miriam, and Happy New Year to you and your listeners as well.
Doctor, you don't look like you have been suffering in this Nigeria with us. You look well. Anyway,
it's just looking like that. We are all in it together.
Have you? I was looking at statistics earlier today in the business area. In 2022, Nigeria's new business density was 1.16%. New companies per 1,000 people. A 2.65 increase from 2021. In terms of economic growth, Nigeria's economic growth slowed from 3.3% in 2022 to 2.9% in 2023. However, the African Development Bank projects that economic growth will increase to 3.2%. That was in 2024, and now we're in 2025, and then 3.4 in 2025. But then there's inflation staring us right in the face, and it's a double-digit inflation, which rose from 18.8% in 2022 to 24.5% in 2023. The ADB again had projected that inflation will rise 31% from about 31.6% in 2024, but will moderate to 20.7% in 2025. Dr. Yusuf, you've seen the budget that Mr. President presented. Many people call it ambitious. Many people think that it's a wild goose chase. There are also those who think that if everything goes as planned, it might just be workable. What does 2025 hold for us, the businesses and the financial sector? Because, of course, this is what grinds the whole system. Whether we like it or not, the economy is based on all of these statistics.
Well, first of all, let me congratulate all businesses and also individuals, including yourself, that survived 2024. Because 2024 was really a very, very challenging year. So for all businesses that managed to survive, I think we need to congratulate them. Now, there are two issues as far as businesses are concerned. There is the external environment of business. There is the internal environment of business. The external environment has to do with all these reforms, issues of insecurity, infrastructure, and all of that. The reality is that as business people, we don't have much control over those external factors. The internal factors has to do with how businesses are responding to these challenges. That is not to say that we should not continuously engage government on the external environment issues. But what is of...
Dr. Yusuf, are you still there? We've lost you for a second. Are you still there?
It's important models to cope. I'm still here. What I'm saying is that what is most important is for us as business people to...
Oh my goodness, the connection is really bad.
recalibrate our business model to sustain our businesses into.
Apologies, doctor. I think that we're having a connection problem with you. Your connection is a little bit wonky, so it's cutting you off at intervals. I think you're back now and it's stable. I'm hoping that it doesn't cut you off again because we really need to hear everything that you're saying. Let's try that again. I think your connection.
Okay, let me come again.
Yeah.
What I was saying is that as businesses and as entrepreneurs, we have a challenge to continuously review our business strategies to be able to survive in the current environment because we don't have much control over what this external environment is. That is not to say that we should not continuously engage the government on how to improve the external environment. So I think that is a challenge for us going forward in 2025. But I must say that from the data that we are seeing, the external environment, I'm talking about a macroeconomic environment, we are talking about the GDP, we are talking about foreign exchange, we are talking about energy prices and things like that, are likely to be much better in 2025 than what we had in 2024. So that gives some form of relief, for those of us in business and even for the individuals. And we are beginning to see some indications of that, even before the close of 2024. We saw what had happened to the exchange rates. We have seen some reasonable level of stability and some, marginal appreciation of the currency when we compare it with what we had in the first half of 2024. And we are gradually beginning to see a moderation in energy prices, PMS in particular. Although very marginal, but at least it signals that there are better days ahead. That is the way we see it. And of course, we have this tax reform and some other things that government is trying to put in place. But what is most important is for us, to identify strategies that can keep our businesses afloat in 2025.
I'm talking about these strategies because every time I hear you say businesses need to adjust so that they can survive and stay afloat, I'm thinking more job losses. I'm thinking downsizing. I'm thinking for those who work in manufacturing, less and less workmen because, one, people are unable to pay their way to work because their transportation has more than doubled. Even with the federal government saying, we cut the price of petrol, people have still not seen it reflected in their transportation. Half of the time, 80% of their income is going on transportation. For those who have some means of transportation, they're fueling it, they're fueling their generators. So people obviously are going to take a hit. And when you have more people out of jobs, then it means that we're going to also have a problem on the side of security. So yes, adjusting to be able to stay afloat is a great thing. But what about the brain drain that comes with it?
Well, unfortunately, some of these adjustments have their cost. But as an entrepreneur, because running a business is not about charity.
Yes,
it's not a social enterprise. It's a profit-making enterprise. Well, I may be sounding more like a capitalist, but that is the reality. Because the business has to be afloat before you can continue to employ people. Otherwise, the entire system will collapse. Adjusting to the reality is not only about cutting, the staff. When we talk about cost optimization, for instance, there are a whole lot of areas in which businesses can cut cost. It's not only about laying off staff. Adopting more technology can reduce costs. Reviewing the energy solution, having a more cost-effective energy solution can reduce costs. Reducing exposure to foreign exchange items or items that require a lot of foreign content can also help to reduce costs. Understanding the new customer priorities, that's strengthening customer focus, because as a result of these reforms, customer priorities have changed. Tastes have changed, priorities have changed. And as entrepreneurs, we need to also understand the market, understand the diet of our customers much better, because a lot of things are happening in the economy. So that is why we see some products, a lot of ingenuity and creativity is coming into production, either in terms of reducing the size of the packaging, or reducing even the quality of the packaging, or even reducing the quantity of what is in the packaging.
Well,
Lot of creativity
we've seen that a lot, actually. We've seen that in consumables. The sizes have reduced drastically, especially for consumables. Can you hear me?
Yes. That is part of the strategy to remain afloat. Because when you are faced with the option of increasing your price in a situation where there is strong consumer resistance, and reducing the quantity and maintaining the same price, you rather go and reduce the quantity so that you don't chase away your consumers. So these are part of the strategies. If you look at the quality of some packaging, the qualities are diminishing. They are not as thick as they used to be, even the bottles of some of these soft drinks. So the point I'm making is that adjusting to the realities is not only about laying off workers. It's also about looking at other methods, including financing. You can't go and be taking credit at 35% and you expect to be able to survive in a business. These are some of the challenges we have with our financial sector. What business can you run at 30% or 35% credit? So we have to look at other options of financing. So there are a whole lot of options that we need to look at to ensure that we keep our businesses afloat. That is about entrepreneurship, and that is what entrepreneurs are designed to do. As the challenges are coming up, you have to come up with strategy to navigate the challenges. That is not to excuse all the problems we have in the economy. No, I'm not excusing that. I'm just saying that businesses must go on in spite of all those problems.
Let's talk about the financial sector here. The financial sector in Nigeria here is expected to undergo a number of changes this year, including the bank sector recapitalization, which started last year. We saw the CBN mandating banks to meet minimum paid up capital thresholds by March of 2026. We are hearing that this actually could lead to some significant overhaul in the industry, with some banks needing to merge or acquire other banks to meet, with the requirement. How well has that fared so far? Because we've seen just a few happen last year. Are we hoping to see more of that this year? And what significant change might it bring? Yes, we might, like the speculators are saying, we might see some sort of overhaul, but I'm sure that you and I have also experienced some downtime with the banks. I've had my money stuck in the bank, 165,000, 8,000, 7,000, 60,000. The list is endless, and I always have to go to a banking hall to fill a form, complain. And we're seeing more and more people take out their monies from the commercial banks into these wallets and small fintech, money companies. So really, is this recapitalization really working?
I think I'm having some connection issues. I hope you can hear me.
I can hear you now, yes.
Okay. Now, I think some of the banks actually have been having issues with their technology, with their IT systems. And I think we're also seeing a bit of that even with the telcos. So I don't know exactly where that is coming from, whether it's a manpower issue, whether it's all this JAPA syndrome that is affecting them. It's not exactly clear. But there is a diminishing quality in terms of the quality of service, particularly with respect to technology. And unfortunately,
oh my goodness.
Well, I won't say unfortunately, it appears that a lot of the customers of the major banks, particularly the retail customers, most of them have migrated to the fintech space. So I think this is a question of technology capacity, the quality of ability to for the recapitalization. You know, there are a lot of options. Well, not a lot, but at least there are a few options.
Okay.
There are the options of merger, and there's also the option of the national. We have the national.
I'm so sorry, your connection is going in and out, but it's okay. Just go ahead. We'll catch what we can catch. Your connection is wonky. But go ahead, Doctor.
Yes. You know, we have the international category of banks, which have different capitalization. I think about 500 billion or so. We have the national, and we have the regional. So I think those options are available for the banks. And I don't expect that the kind of shocks that we
oh dear.
Experienced in 2005 when we had the governor of Central Bank, Professor Solo, because they have a longer time, at least to plan and to review their strategies and decide on what options will happen. Well, if mergers happen, obviously, it could have implications for jobs, as there may be job losses and things like that. Some of these things are inevitable. But I think it is in the interest of.
Oh my goodness, the connection is really, really bad, unfortunately.
Economy that you have strong habits.
Once again, I want to apologize for those who are watching or listening to us live. Apologies. The internet has a mind of its own. It's going in and out, and it's not letting us hear everything. But you've talked about the recapitalization and the fact that it might lead to a few job losses if they're measures. But then some banks seem to be, we've been seeing people, most of these banks, selling shares, asking for people to come and buy shares. Maybe this would help. But there's someone tried to explain to me why this recapitalization is important, and how it will help in the fight against, or rather in stabilizing Forex in Nigeria. Is there a correlation between the bank recapitalization and the stabilizing of foreign exchange in Nigeria, Doctor?
Well, my understanding of the value that bank capitalization or recapitalization will bring is the capacity to fund bigger projects.
Okay.
Because the ability to fund bigger projects. And the whole
oh no. Dr. Muda Yusuf's bandwidth is low. Before I say bandwidth is low.
Anything goes wrong. In the event that anything goes wrong, the bank must be able to support the system. There is no strong correlation actually between capitalization and the exchange rate. Exchange rate relates more to our ability to source more foreign exchange. Unless capitalization can support investment that can, export more, then that way we can say that there is a relationship. But there is no strong relationship as such between the capitalization and the exchange rate.
So let's focus on the exchange rates now. We're seeing that, it came down to 150,000, 150 naira, I beg your pardon, at some point, or 1,500 at some point, and many were rejoicing. But then it's gradually, going back up. Let's also talk about the fact that we're not really exporting a lot. The only thing that we're exporting, we still even can't get full account of it. As at today, 313 billion naira is unaccounted for by the NMPDRA and its other subsidiaries. And there's a long list of those monies and oil that we cannot account for. And before now, before I was even born, my father would tell me our mainstay was agriculture. But agriculture is also facing some sorts of challenge because of the insecurity in several parts, which is also creeping down into the southwest. So how do we even remedy the situation of our foreign exchange ever if we're not trying our best to export more? Why is that sector somewhat, standing on one leg?
Well, there are two ways to it. There is the option of exporting more, which is very, very critical. And I can tell you that there are some steps being taken, particularly with respect to issue of insecurity in the Niger Delta, because that is part of the efforts to ensure that we export more. Mm-hmm. Because as we speak, the oil and gas sector is still the major source of our foreign exchange. Yeah. It still accounts for close to 90% or so. So I think the government is doing everything possible to ensure that the oil output increases by virtue of the efforts that have been put in place, to ensure security and increase production. Then there are also steps being taken to increase investment in gas. So major investors are now in gas. Mm-hmm. The government is giving a lot of incentives to make sure that happens. That is one leg of it. The other leg of it is import substitution. Because in order to ensure that we have a better results and have a stronger currency, you also need to reduce your imports. And up until now, we spend about 30% or more of our foreign exchange on petroleum products. So we are beginning to see a major import substitution effect, particularly the Dangote refinery. If we're able to support that refinery and other refineries very well, we are likely to see a lot more reduction in the importation of petroleum products. And that will also help to, improve the results and strengthen the currency. So it's something that we need to tackle from both ends, reducing importation and exporting more. Okay. I think those are the things that we need to do.
Okay. In case you're just joining us, we have Dr. Muda Yusuf here with us in the studio. We're going to go on a quick break. When we come back, let's talk about what needs to be done for 2025.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We'll be right back. Success is like a big mansion. You only see the magnificent edifice, not the strong foundation that holds it. Likewise, in the world of e-payments, you only see transactions done and funds remitted. But who pioneered these financial technology solutions? Well, you knew it as Value Card, now Unified Payments, Nigeria's premier financial technology service provider. Yes, it starts here. Find out more at www.up-ng.com. Unified Payments, innovations that work for you.
When you have bars in the sky, onboard showers and award-winning in-flight entertainment, it's no surprise that Emirates was recently named the best airline in the world. We fly you to over 140 destinations, and with partners across the globe, we connect you to another 1,700 cities across 6 continents. So when we say we're also the largest international airline, what we really mean is, if you're going there, so are we. Book now on Emirates.com. Fly Emirates. Fly better.
Stay sharp, fuel up, and be on top of your game. Power Horse is here to boost your energy and conquer the day. Don't miss out on an unstoppable offer for Niger. You can now buy Power Horse 250 ml for just 999 naira. And for those who need a little extra, grab the 355 ml for only 1,299 naira. Don't wait. Head to the nearest store today and fuel up. Power Horse, unstoppable you.
Happy New Year from Polaris Bank, the digital bank of the year. We thank all our customers for your patronage and support last year. May 2025 mark a year of fulfilled dreams for you and yours. Download Vault from Google Play Store or iOS App Store today to get your year started.
Hey, BC. It's school season again, oh. The price hike in the market, eh?
Right? That's why my budget is tight this year.
I'm only here to shop a few things, Jerry. See you later.
It looks like you decided to splurge a little.
See, thanks to Skit, the prices were less than I calculated. Since I had some money left, why not treat myself too?
Wow, same here.
Get your school supplies for less at Skit Store. Visit our stores in Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt, or shop online at www.skit.ng. For inquiries, please call 0807 728 5058.
Introducing the essence of true authenticity in fragrance, Wazobia Perfume, the correct scent. A unique blend that captivates the authentic spirit of Nigeria, now available in both perfume and body spray variants. Designed for everyone. Yes, Wazobia is a unisex fragrance perfect for both men and women. Its rich and versatile aroma is a statement of inclusivity and unity. Unleash your confidence with each and every spray. Are you a retailer or do you love to buy in bulk? We've got you covered across Nigeria. Wazobia Perfume comes in cartons of 24 bottles and the body spray is available in cartons of 48 bottles. Interested in making Wazobia Perfume a part of your collection or store? For carton purchases, contact us at the email address contact@wazobiacosmetics.ng or call us at 0201 330 0047. That is 0201 330 0047. Our team is ready to assist you with your orders. Wazobia Perfume, the correct scent. Your new signature fragrance is just a call or a click away. Authentic, unisex, confidence, Wazobia.
99.3 Nigeria Info.
Your number one station for talk. Let's talk.
All right, it's still Balogun and Broad, and we're still talking with Dr. Muda Yusuf, and we're looking at, of course, setting an agenda for the year 2025 in terms of the business environment and the financial sector, because these two go hand in hand. And, well, the doctor has given us some sort of hope that the government is doing everything within its power to try to fix certain things. But adjustments need to be made, and businesses obviously are taking a huge hit. But there's also that hope that 2025 might just be better. With all the projections that we've seen, might be better, a better year for businesses, for the financial sector, as compared to what we experienced in 2025. Let's look at the budget, Dr. Yusuf. You saw how that budget was drawn, and again, the benchmark that the presidency is using, the oil benchmark, is it achievable, sir?
The oil benchmark is a bit optimistic because generally there's a feeling that with the Trump presidency and with the likely easing of the geopolitical tensions, $75 per barrel or so is a bit on the optimistic side. I will expect that the National Assembly will have to review that, maybe to around 70. Mm-hmm. That will make it a lot more realistic. And the oil output of over 2 million barrels per day is also a bit on the optimistic side, because when you are projecting for revenue, I think the more conservative you are, the better you begin to.
Oh God, this connection today is not letting us hear.
Scamper for bombing and all of this. It's a bit on the optimistic side. Yeah.
Okay. Let's look at most recent. I think just within the first week of the year, a lot of changes have come, and Mr. President obviously is back in the country today. We're hoping to see a lot more changes, because the president even made some promises while he was in Ghana yesterday to tackle some of the issues, especially in security. In the space of 6 or 5 days, we've seen the amount of killings that happened, I think, in Jigawa. We saw one in, Borno. The Borno one had soldiers also killed. we're seeing these things happen all over the place. Governor Sheyi Makinde has also been speaking about these people also creeping into the southwest. We've seen also that the amount of money that was, budgeted for security is the highest it has ever been in this 2025 budget. With all that, we are projecting, if we don't deal with this issue of insecurity, because it affects everything, where are we going? Does it seem that the president is doing everything within his power to deal with this issue of insecurity? Or are we going to still go through the same motions we went through in 2024? I'm so sorry. I know that your connection is going on and off again. Can you hear me, Doctor?
Well, this is a very big one. And the president, in my view, or the administration, in my view, is doing its best. I think the best that the administration can do is to provide adequate resources, adequate equipment. We have had reports of how many Tucano jets have been bought and all of that, So in terms of resources, quite a reasonable amount of resources have been provided. But whether we are getting value for those resources that have been committed is a different matter. So we need to look at the issue of the value for money. We need to look at the issue of our strategy. And we need to also look at the issue of how well we are leveraging technology. Because we see the amazing ways in which they use technology, particularly all this Israel, Middle East, and all of that. You wonder how they do it. So if you have to learn from these people, why not? Why not? So that we can use a lot more technology. But regrettably, we are not gaining the kind of traction. Because each time we feel happy that we are making progress, suddenly you see that we are retrogressing, and without security, it's very difficult to deal with some of these fundamental problems that we are faced with, particularly issues of food security and energy security. And even our oil sector, everything, a whole lot of these things hinge on security and investment generally. Because you know what it is when you have this kind of incident, they make headlines globally, and sometimes they even becloud even the good things that are happening in the economy. So we need to do a lot more. I agree with you.
There's a statistic, I can't let you go, Doctor, without asking this question. I'm sure you saw that data that was put out for the celebrations in December, the amount of people that came into Nigeria, especially Lagos, for Dirty December. You know how we say that, 2024 was so hard, no money, we're hungry, but then where did the money come from? Look at the life that we lived in the space of 2 weeks. Yes, many people will credit it to the I just got back, those who came from the United Kingdom, from the US, from outside of the country. But even those of us who were here, we were still celebrating, and the statistics are damning. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that report. I'm sure you've seen it. I see the smile on your face.
No, the point is that first, just as you said, there's a diaspora component of those spendings. Secondly, there is the fact that we have a number of people who normally travels out, for some of these vacations. Because of the exchange rate situation, many of them decided to stay back. And spending Naira is much easier for them than spending dollars. So we're able to retain, quite a number of that segment. Because don't forget, there is also high level of inequality, in the economy, Even when we talk about middle class, there are different segments of middle class. You have some middle class that are, working in oil companies, in telcos, in the banks and all of those. I mean, those ones have good money to spend. You can't compare that with people who are civil servants or even people who are my friends who are in journalism. They don't have that kind of money.
We're poorly paid.
They don't have that kind of money. Yes. So that segmentation is.
Oh dear. I think that we've lost that connection again. Doctor, are you still there?
I feel
Are you saying?
Even when it is not a festive season, you hear that all the hotels have been booked. So you begin to wonder what is happening. So there's a big issue of inequality. As bad as this are, people are still buying some nice cars,
Oh my goodness. Doctor, we've lost your connection yet again. We're going to try to open up the phone lines and have a conversation. I know that you're frozen now. Maybe you can hear me, maybe not. We've lost the connection with the doctor again. But the phone lines are open, Lagos. You can join the conversation. We're live on Facebook.com/Nigeria Info FM. We're live on YouTube, Nigeria Info FM. Join the conversation on WhatsApp 08095975805. Are you in business? Are you in the financing sector? What are your projections for 2025? And do you see 2025 getting better than 2024? Doctor, before I open up the phone lines, I hope in 1 minute you can answer this question, because I don't want the connection to shut you out again. What should the government, the Minister of Finance, and the Coordinating Minister of the Economy, what should Mr. Cardoso of the CBN, what should they be prioritizing as we begin to set sail in 2025?
They should prioritize the stabilization of our foreign exchange market. And if they need to periodically intervene, as the CBN has been doing, they should do so. And the CBN should reduce its tightening of monetary policy and do more to make sure that we have more accessible credit, credit at a much lower cost for businesses. If we need to expand the development finance window, let us do so. Because the cost of credit in this economy is prohibitive, and we cannot sustain economic growth with that level of interest rate. So interest rate issue, energy issue, and the foreign exchange issue, I think those are the three key issues. Of course, in addition to insecurity, those are the three key issues I think we should prioritize.
All right, join the conversation, Lagos 0201-277-0993. Dr. Muda Yusuf here with us. Questions, comments, and of course, maybe complaints if you run a business. 0201-465-7190 for the ladies. 60 seconds is all you have. Please go straight to the point. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Maryann, good evening.
Good evening.
I greet your guest. My name is Ambrose.
Ambrose, go ahead, please.
Maryann, is it only Nigeria that is existing, that our currency keep on crashing? Just like your guest just said, can't the federal government and the CBN do something? This is the only country where our currency is never stable. Look at Cotonou here. Do you know in the year 2000 naira, I used to go to Cotonou to buy cars. 1,000 CFAs is 160 naira. Today, 1,000 naira is 160 CFAs.
Wow.
So what exactly is the problem? We have the market, we have fuel, we have everything. Well, they say it's because we are importing. What does Cotonou produce? That their currency has become valuable than us. What is wrong? Where is the problem? Even the economies they don't have solution. Nobody has been able to tell us exactly why our currency keep nosediving. And so I want your guest to tell me the problem of this.
All right, thank you, Ambrose, for calling. Doctor, you can tell the pain in his voice.
I wish I had the solution to the problem. But the issue is that I think it's a question of governance, and it's a question of how we manage our macroeconomic environment. We have not managed the macroeconomic environment well. We have created a situation where we, created so much naira in the system, so that it weakened the naira against the other currencies. That is why you see this problem of high fiscal deficit, high money supply. All those things have a way of weakening the currency. And most of all is the kind of printing of the currency that we had under the previous administration. It was horrendous, and those things had very, very significant impact. And we also saw the kind of challenges we had with our oil sector. Again, back to the point you made, we are too dependent on the oil sector So when the oil majors were leaving, when they were busting the pipelines, when the investment was gone to zero, then the whole system of our FX collapsed. So it's a question of our capacity to generate the foreign exchange and the way we have also been printing our currency. These Francophone countries, they don't have control over their currency. The printing of their currency and all those things are being controlled from France. They don't have that authority to just say they need money, they go and print. So that is part of the reason why they have that kind of stability.
Okay. All right, let's take a few more calls. Hello, welcome to Balogo and Broad. I'm so sorry. Please call us back. 0201-277-0993. Hello, welcome to Balogo and Broad.
Good evening, Maryann.
Good evening.
My name is Robert.
Robert, go ahead, please.
The inflation rate, according to the government, is 34.6%. And the government promised to reduce it to 50% this year with exchange rate of 1,700 to a dollar to 1,500 naira to a dollar. With our oil production of 2.06 million barrels per day, I want to ask your guests, how is it realizable that inflation will be reduced to 50% when you peg the exchange rate to 1,500 naira to a dollar? Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Doctor. He's asking how
the inflation rate, just as we discussed earlier, that is a bit optimistic. I don't expect that to be able to make that 15%. As we can do maybe and some other possibilities around stability in forex and possible reduction in energy prices. But I agree with the caller, that 15% is on the optimistic side. But the 1,500, I think, is something that is realizable. I even think that if things work out well, we may even do better than that. So that will be my response to 1,500 is not out of this. It's really something that, in fact, we are almost there anyway. 1,500.
Well, we're actually there.
Many of us are
there in December.
We'll be able to do 1,003 or 1,004. That's our expectation.
Okay. Hello, welcome to Balogo and Broad.
Yeah, good evening, Miriam. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Jonathan is my name. Good evening to your guest.
All right, go ahead, Jonathan.
Your guest outlined the three most important points: forex, interest rate, security. Let me add the fourth one to it: power. And let me ask you a question, you and Miriam. As a country and as a people, what is supposed to be our core strength? The oil and gas. But unfortunately, we have sold it out. How? IOCs, the crude, we are supposed to use it to bless ourselves. But what is happening? Nothing. Okay, even the issue of power. Any country that wants to be industrialized, and since 1960, as a country, we cannot boast of 10,000 megawatts. It's a shame. We are nowhere. So we have a lot of pointers to us as a people and as a country. It's only who will drag us out of this mess. It's what we are all talking about every day. Enjoy your evening.
Thank you, Jonathan, for calling. Hello, welcome to Balogo and Broad. Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening. Turn off your radio.
Yes, I've done so.
Go ahead.
My question to the guest is that during the former president, President Buhari, what are we producing that naira was 700 naira to $1 that we are not producing now? That our currency went from that amount to 1,700 naira to dollar. I'm one that don't know what happened to us. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for calling. Hello. Welcome to... oh, I'm so sorry. Please call me back if that was you. I'm going to read some messages, Doctor, quickly, and then I'll come back to the phone lines. Let me just read a few messages. Don't forget, you can send us a WhatsApp message on 080-959-75805. Someone here says... My name is Tari from Lekki. CBN office at Tinubu Square. If you go there, there are armed policemen and armored vehicles. You will see the fear. Go. I'm sure this pigeon is saying the fear go where you. CBN should make it possible for people to be able to call and send them direct emails and get feedback immediately, because when I have issues with banks, I should be able to complain to the CBN, because it seems like I am at the mercy of these annoying Nigerian commercial banks. Meanwhile, why must ATM card expire when when my voter's card doesn't expire? Many years I'm still using it. I can't answer that, but doctor, he's asking, why is the CBN so unapproachable?
Well, I think that is for the CBN to answer, because I know that they have a consumer protection unit and they are very active. I know that they have made a lot of recoveries for customers, for depositors. On the back of the complaints that are approachable. Well, that is something for you as the anchor person of this program to escalate to the central bank. Yes, more accessible.
Well,
we've tried. Question for the central bank to respond to.
We've tried and tried. The bankers committee, they would put adverts and tell us that there's cash. But when you go to the banks, there's no cash. I wonder why we have ATMs if there's no money in those ATMs, and then people have to resort to POSs. The CBN is yet to answer any of those questions. We've tried, we've asked these questions, no response. Again, I totally understand when that person who sent a message is saying they're inaccessible, and there are armed guards there, so you can't even approach the CBN for whatever reason. It sounds like going to see the senator representing you. If you don't have access, you can't enter. I mean, it's a crazy world. But let's take a few more calls before we let you go, doctor. Hello.
Hello, Maryann. Good evening.
From the central bank, it is for the central bank to is its sole responsibility.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello, Maryann.
Good evening. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Davis, calling from Ota.
Davis, go ahead, please.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, Davis. The line cut off. I think that the connections today they're really bad. Let me read another message quickly. Jeremiah says, Doctor, I always like his economic analytics expressions without being biased and being narrow-minded, ethnicity nor affiliate to the government. But sir, is there still subsidy payment on fuel? If so, this government is so deceptive and can never be trusted by well-meaning Nigerians, except those who see good and call it bad, and see bad and call it good. But no, Nigeria is not working at all as we used to see coming up in the early 2000s. So his biggest question, doctor, is there still subsidy payments on fuel? I mean, that question, the answer is always very foggy.
No, they have said that the system has been fully deregulated. And for Dangote to be selling and doing business, Dangote is not getting any subsidy from anybody, except for the concession about the Naira for.
Oh dear.
Crude. So the answer is that there's.
Doctor, go ahead. We lost you for a second.
Yeah, there's no subsidy as far as I know, because if Dangote can be producing and be selling now even at less than 1,000, and Dangote is not collecting any subsidy from anybody, NNPC has followed suit. So there's no.
So the subsidy has been totally removed. Okay, let me take one quick call before we wrap things up. Hello? All right, call me back. Turn off your radio and then do that. Hello, welcome.
Good evening, Maryann. This is Kenny. How are you?
I'm fine, Kenny. Go ahead, please.
All right, Dr. Muda. Good evening, sir. I just want to make a comment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if our leadership in Nigeria are aware that Nigeria is now a joke globally. They say that we have too much money in circulation, and that's why our inflation is high. Meanwhile, when you go to the ATMs, there's no cash. The excess, the money they print out to make up for shortfalls all that money does not come into circulation. Nigeria is a unique economy that does not adhere to the principles of economics. So why is it that we're applying the principle of economics to running our country? Our inflation rate is very high because we're doing this. We need to be realistic. We need to open up the borders. We need to slam down the interest rate. We need to return back the foreign exchange rate so that Nigeria can breathe and we will stop being a joke in the entire world.
Okay.
God bless Nigeria.
Thank you very much for calling. I do appreciate it. Doc, in closing, because of course she she seems like someone who's asking for some sort of revolution, in this in the sector to change things, and she's saying again, foreign exchange. Can you hear me?
Well, she has made some very valid points. We need to rejig the entire system. We also need to reckon with our own peculiarities as a country. We can.
Oh my goodness. This connection today has been really, really bad. It's not letting us hear anything that you're saying, Doctor. And we have
not afford to adopt hook, line, and sinker entirely. So I think the point of peculiarities.
I'm so sorry, Doctor. The connection has been so bad and we've lost most of everything that you've said to us. But in 30 seconds, because we have just 30 seconds to go, if you can just recap quickly for us what you just said in 30 seconds. Oh my goodness.
It's so bad.
It's been so really bad. I'm so sorry, but that's all the time we have, Doctor. I'm hoping that we can bring you back when the connection is way better so we can have a very easy and smooth conversation. Dr. Muda Yusuf has been speaking with us on business and the economy on Balogun and Broad. Thank you so much, Doctor, for coming on the show, and we apologize on behalf of these telcos for distorting our conversation. Thank you so much.
My apologies.
No problem. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Well, Lagos, we're going to have to go on a break. Yvonne is going to be here with the news at the top of the hour. I'm Maryann Okon. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, MIMIEYO. Or better still, you can just Google Maryann Okon. I'll see you tomorrow on Global Review.
You are listening to your number one station for talk.
99.3 Nigeria Info.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk. 99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.